By the time the poachers left her tied to the banyan tree, the tide was already rising. The air was thick and heavy, carrying the smell of salt, mud, and decay. The Sundarban's mangrove forest was alive with strange sounds, buzzing insects, croaking frogs, and the slow splash of water moving through the roots. Somewhere in that endless green maze, a Bengal tiger moved like a shadow. His name was Raja. If the jungle ever spoke to those who listened, it whispered that name with respect. He was the king of this tangled land of rivers and trees. His coat shone with deep orange and black stripes that melted into the sunlight and shade. His golden eyes missed nothing. Raja stopped suddenly. His nostrils flared. There was something new in the air, something that did not belong. The usual scents of mud and salt were mixed with another human. Not the sharp stink of oil or smoke that came with poachers, but something softer, mixed with sweat and blood. It was the smell of fear. He followed it silently, each step sinking softly into the wet earth. And then he saw her. A woman was tied to the great roots of an old banyan tree. Her hands were pulled high above her head, her clothes dirty and soaked with sweat. Rope bit into her wrists, and blood had dried where she had struggled. Flies circled lazily around her wounds. Her name was Emma Hargrove, a wildlife photographer who had come to the Sundarbans to capture its wild beauty. But now, she was no longer a visitor. She was trapped prey. She had been searching for a tigress with cubs, hoping for a photograph that could touch hearts and change minds. But at dusk, the poachers had come silent, quick, and cruel. One hit to her head, and she fell into darkness. When she woke, she was bound to the tree. "Stay quiet, lady," one of them had said, in rough English. "Let the jungle take you, or maybe the tiger will." They had laughed as they left her there, helpless and afraid. Now, Emma hung weakly, her breath shallow, her throat dry as dust. She had lost track of time, hours, maybe a day. She tried to stay calm, but fear pulsed through her veins. The forest was full of eyes, and one pair, burning gold in the gloom, was watching her now. Raja stepped out from the shadows. His huge form blocked the faint morning light. Emma froze, every muscle tense. She had seen tigers before, but never like this, never this close. He was power and grace made flesh. And yet, deep inside, she felt a spark of recognition. Those eyes, she had seen them before. Months earlier, during a storm, Emma had found a tiger cub hurt and bleeding in the rain. Its paw was cut badly. The mother had stood nearby, growling low, warning her to stay away. But Emma couldn't. She had knelt in the mud, cleaned the wound, and stitched it as best she could. The tigress had watched, tense but unmoving. When Emma finished and backed away, the tigress had done something she would never forget. She nudged Emma's fallen camera lens toward her, as if returning it. And in the distance, half hidden in the shadows, another tiger had watched. Bigger, older, wiser. Raja. Now, those same golden eyes studied her again. He came closer, each step silent. Emma could hear her heartbeat thundering in her ears. Roger's nose twitched. He could smell the ropes, the blood, the fear. He circled her slowly, tail flicking from side to side. Then he lowered his great head near her wrist. Emma held her breath, expecting pain. But instead of biting her, he bit the rope. His teeth caught the knot. He pulled, testing it. The rope strained but didn't break. He tugged again, harder this time, and some fibers began to snap. Emma gasped, not from pain, but from disbelief. Was he helping her? "Raja," she whispered, her voice barely a sound. "It's me. From the storm, please." Her words trembled in the humid air. The tiger's ears turned toward her voice. His amber eyes blinked once, slow, thoughtful. Then he bent again and bit at the rope. Bit by bit, it began to loosen. Just as the last few threads started to tear, the jungle screamed. A chorus of high-pitched yips and snarls echoed through the trees. Dole's wild dogs burst out of the undergrowth, red-coated and lean, 15 of them, their eyes glowing like embers. They had caught the scent of Bloodamer's blood, and now they saw easy prey. But they also saw the tiger, and hunger made them bold. Raja turned sharply, dropping the rope. The dolls fanned out, circling fast. The leader, a scarred female, darted forward, aiming for Emma's leg. Roger moved faster than thought. His roar tore through the forest like thunder. He leaped, his paw slamming into the doll's side, sending her flying into the mud. The rest attacked from every side. The fight was chaos. Raja moved like a storm, striking, turning, striking again. His claws tore through fur. His jaws snapped bone. The air filled with snarls and cries. Emma, still half-tied, struggled to free herself completely, using her weight to loosen the rope as Raja fought for both their lives. Blood splashed against the tree roots. The forest floor shook with the power of each blow. One doll managed to bite Raja's leg, but he crushed it in return. Another jumped at his neck, only to be thrown aside like a rag. When the pack saw their leader limping away, they began to retreat, one by one, whining in defeat. Soon they were gone, swallowed by the mangroves. Silence returned, broken only by Raja's heavy breathing. Emma looked at him, trembling. He was bleeding from a gash on his shoulder, but his eyes were calm. He turned to the rope again, bit it once more, and pulled until it gave way. Her arm dropped free, numb but alive. She worked at the other ropes herself, her fingers shaking. Finally, she was free. She fell to her knees, gasping, her whole body aching. Raja stood near her, watching. He gave a soft chuffer sound tigers make when they are calm, not angry. She looked up at him, tears mixing with sweat. "Thank you," she whispered. But peace never lasted long in the Sundarbans. From the far side of the clearing came new movements, soft, steady, heavier than the dolls. The shadows shifted, and 3 tigers stepped out. Behind them came 2 young cubs. At their front walked a tigress with one cloudy eye. The very same tigress Emma had helped months ago. Emma froze. Raja stood tall between her and the newcomers. His body was tense, his tail low, but he did not growl. The tigress stopped a few feet away. She looked at Raja, then at Emma. Her nose lifted, tasting the air. She smelled the human scent on Raja, the blood, the fight. Recognition flashed in her good eye. Raja gave a deep rumble, not a challenge, but a statement. The tigress answered with a low chuff. The cubs peered from behind her legs, curious. For a long moment, none of them moved. The forest itself seemed to wait. Then the tigress lowered her head slightly. It was not submission, it was respect. A gesture that said, "The debt is paid." Raja stepped aside, letting her pass. She walked closer to Emma, slow and sure. Emma didn't move. The tigress sniffed the air near her, then turned away. No attack, no anger, just acceptance. The cubs followed their mother, eyes wide. Raja joined them, walking beside her as they disappeared back into the mist. Emma stood trembling beside the banyan tree, her heart still racing. She was free, alive, saved by the very creatures she had come to protect. As the sun rose higher, its golden light filled the mangrove swamp. The ropes lay torn at her feet, soaked in mud and blood. She wiped her face, then slowly gathered her scattered camera gear. The lens was cracked, but her resolve was not. She looked once more into the jungle, where Raja had vanished. "I won't forget," she said softly. The forest gave no answer, only the slow sigh of the wind through the leaves. Emma knew what she had to do. She would return to civilization, not to leave, but to fight, to expose the poachers, to protect this fragile world. The photos she had taken before were just pictures. Now, she had a story of truth and survival. As she walked away, the great banyan stood silent behind her, its roots drinking from the earth where tiger, dog, and human blood had mixed. Life and death, hunter and prey, all part of one circle. And somewhere, deep in the green shadows, Raja watched her go, his golden eyes calm in the morning light. The king of the mangroves had kept his kingdom's oldest promise, to protect those who respect the wild.